Chapter 51, Shattered Dao Skis. The heavens groaned. At first it was subtle, a faint crack like porcelain breaking, but then reality itself screamed. Lightning without thunder slashed across the skis, golden rivers that normally flowed gently through the heavens suddenly surged backward, and constellations tumbled from their places, falling like meteor showers. Cultivators across continents dropped to their knees, clutching their heads as Dao laws twisted violently. Words of power that once guided cultivation, the Dao of fire, water, wind, and time, flickered, their resonance unstable. Dao collapse, whispered an elder in terror. The very laws of existence are unraveling. Inside the sect of tomorrow, Yetian sat upon the eternal throne. His gaze pierced the collapsing heavens. Around him, disciples knelt, some vomiting blood from backlash, others desperately channeling qi into stabilizing formations. Then the familiar cold chime rang in his mind. System notification. Warning, Dao collapse detected. Stability of realm, 67% right arrow 45%. Quest generated, prevent collapse or witness total erasure. Yetian's heart pounded. The sky above him split further, and through the rift emerged something vast, a palm the size of mountains, covering half the world. It pressed down, its weight alone bending space. The voice of an ancestor rolled across the realms like thunder. Child of tomorrow, surrender your system. It does not belong to mortals. Disciples shook in despair. Some clutched their swords in trembling hands, but what could they do against a hand that could crush continents? Yetian rose, eternal throne glowing behind him. He raised the scepter of tomorrow, and the eternal domain expanded outward like a tidal wave, shielding his people. The giant palm met the barrier and was forced back with a thunderous crack. Blood ran from Yetian's lips, but his eyes blazed. If even Dao itself trembles, then I must walk where Dao ends. If ancestors demand my submission, they will learn what tomorrow truly means. The world itself shook as the first war against Dao began. Chapter 52, Eternal Sovereign versus Heavenly Ancestors. The skis split open wider. From the rift descended three figures, each radiating such ancient power that the world seemed too fragile to hold them. Ancestor of blazing sun, his entire body a furnace of golden fire, each strand a flame capable of burning an immortal soul. Ancestor of silent night, cloaked in darkness, his eyes hollow voids. Around him, cause and effect bent unnaturally. Ancestor in white, calm, serene, wearing plain white robes, but every motion of his hand shifted reality as if he wrote the laws of existence. Together, they stood like gods. Yetian floated alone in the void above his sect. Behind him, the eternal throne pulsed, and below, his disciples raised their heads with eyes full of both fear and faith. The ancestors spoke as one, their voices interwoven. Your existence unravels the balance of heaven. You must be erased. The system flared suddenly. System activated. Emergency feature unlocked. Eternal projection. You may project a future version of yourself at the cost of life essence. A figure materialized beside Yetian, his future self. Taller, cloaked in starlight, his blade forged of pure will, his aura so vast it bent the void. For the first time, disciples gasped in awe. They saw their sovereign not only as he was, but as what he would become. Together, the two Yetians raised their blades. Flames of tomorrow surged, colliding with ancestral Dao. The ancestor of blazing sun hurled a river of fire that scorched space itself. Yetian and his projection crossed their blades, splitting the river into sparks. The ancestor of silent night waved his hand, erasing the very concept of light around them. Darkness tried to erase Yetian's existence from history. The projection struck, anchoring Yetian's presence across infinite timelines. The ancestor in white merely watched, serene, his eyes unreadable. For 7 days and nights they fought. Mountains turned to dust, rivers boiled, the stars above dimmed. And through it all, Yetian bled, veins bursting, bones fracturing. but his roar shook the heavens. "Retreat! If I fall now, who will carry tomorrow?" The ancestors faltered. The mortal they had expected to erase was holding 3 of them at bay. Chapter 53, The Rise of Eternal Disciples. Inside the eternal domain, disciples faced their own trials. Ling Yue sat beneath a phantom moon, her qi weaving into silver threads. When the Tao of light trembled, she reached deeper, into illusions, into dreams, until she grasped a fragment of truth. The moonlight Tao, where illusions shaped reality. Wu Jian, a body cultivator, stood in flames conjured by Tao collapse. His flesh cracked and broke, but instead of retreating, he endured, tempering bone and blood. When he emerged, his physique glowed like molten steel, his strikes echoing like thunder. Li Meihua knelt among beasts that roared in agony as their Taos shattered. She pressed her forehead against them, merging her soul with theirs. Her eyes glowed golden as she became the beast empress, summoning packs of phantom beasts at will. Even the weakest outer disciples, those who had once struggled at qi condensation, felt the resonance of the eternal domain. Their foundations solidified, hearts unyielding. The system chimed within Yetian's, mind mid-battle. System log. Disciples have entered evolution state. Growth speed, 1000% increased within eternal domain. Subsystem activated, eternal sect interface. A glowing interface appeared before Yetian, listing disciples, names, breakthroughs, and power levels. He saw their progress, their loyalty, their flames of hope. A smile cracked his bloodied face. With them, I am not alone. With them, I am eternal. His aura surged. His blade clashed again with the ancestors, not just as himself, but as the embodiment of his entire sect. Chapter 54, Collapse of the Heavenly Court. The world trembled with rumors. Word spread like wildfire. Yetian fought 3 ancestors and lived. The impossible had become reality. Sects whispered. Beast clans stirred. Immortals who had once feared the heavenly court now turned their eyes toward the sect of tomorrow. Meanwhile, inside the heavenly court's golden palace, the heavenly emperor sat upon his cracked throne, coughing blood. His divine crown flickered, his ministers fled, and once loyal generals bowed to no one. If the court falls, the emperor snarled, then let the heavens burn with it. From the depths of the palace, colossal war machines emerged, Tao cannons. Forged in secret, fueled by centuries of sacrifices, each was designed to pierce sovereigns. They aimed at the sect of tomorrow. The sky lit with deadly beams, tearing rivers, erasing mountains, annihilating entire provinces. Yetian descended into the skies above his sect, raising the eternal domain as a shield. The cannons struck, shaking his body to its core. His disciples screamed as cracks spread across the barrier. Then the system intervened. System. New feature available, Sect Unity Resonance. All disciples linked right arrow strength X disciples, count multiplier applied. A surge of power filled him. Every disciple's qi, every shred of hope, every ounce of determination flowed into Yetian. His aura grew not tenfold, not hundredfold, but thousandfold. He roared, swinging the blade of tomorrow. The beam of destruction shattered. The Tao cannons melted. The heavenly court trembled as its last weapon failed. Its towers crumbled. Its ministers wept. Its emperors begged for mercy. But the ancestors still stood. Chapter 55, Eternal Sovereign versus End of Tao. At the edge of reality, where the heavens split and the Tao crumbled, there lay the abyss known as the End of Tao. It was not fire nor ice, not light nor dark. It was the absence of everything. Concepts dissolved within it. Immortality lasted not even a breath. The ancestors gathered there, their robes whipping in the void winds. The ancestor in white extended his hand toward Yetian. Step into the abyss, and even your system cannot protect you. Yetian's disciples begged him not to move, but his eyes were resolute. He stepped forward. Each step burned his flesh, cracked his soul. The void tried to erase him, to deny his existence. The system screamed in alarm. New trial detected. End of Dao. Warning. 99.9% of existences fail upon entry. Yetian laughed bitterly. If Dao ends here, then I will create what lies beyond Dao. He forced another step. His bones turned translucent, his veins glowed, his body nearly dissolved. But then within the abyss, a spark appeared. A seed formed not of heaven or earth, but of Yetian's defiance. The abyss trembled. For the first time, the end of Dao rejected its own consumption. The ancestors, who had seen countless cycles, faltered. For the first time, they feared. Chapter 56, Creation of the Eternal Dao. The spark grew into a seed. The seed pulsed into a tree. Its roots pierced time, its branches spread across dimensions. The Eternal Dao was born. It was not the Dao of flame or water or light. It was the Dao of continuation, the refusal to end, the promise of tomorrow. The system evolved instantly. System evolution. Eternal Sovereign System, version 3 activated. New features. Eternal Dao creation, realm authority, universal link. A voice, not of system but of existence itself, echoed. A new Dao has been established. Yetian's voice thundered. I am eternal. I am the Dao that does not end. The ancestors attacked, but their flames, darkness, and laws broke apart before the eternal Dao's light. The eternal throne shone above the abyss, casting radiance through infinite realms. For the first time in history, a mortal surpassed the ancestors. Chapter 57, Fall of the Ancestor of Blazing Sun. The ancestor of Blazing Sun howled in fury. His flames burned brighter than a star, consuming entire planes of existence. He transformed into a sun, a miniature star that sought to devour Yetian. Yetian raised the blade of tomorrow, wrapped in eternal Dao. Flames that once reduced souls to ash dispersed like mist before his strike. The two clashed. Light drowned worlds. Mortals across continents fell to their knees, blind from the radiance. And then, with a roar, Yetian split the sun in two. The ancestor screamed as his body shattered, his soul flame extinguished. The eternal Dao absorbed the remnants, converting them into eternal flame authority. System log. You have defeated an ancestor. Reward, eternal flame authority added. The disciples roared. The first ancestor had fallen. Chapter 58, The Ancestor's Desperation. The ancestor of Silent Night shrieked, his darkness spreading across past and future. He rewove history, erasing Yetian's name from records, attempting to make him a ghost who never existed. Disciples blinked in terror as their memories wavered. Some forgot their sovereign for an instant. But the eternal Dao shone. Even erased timelines reshaped themselves around Yetian. His presence became an unmovable pillar across past, present, and future. He struck forward, piercing the ancestor's chest. Darkness bled into the void. The ancestor staggered, wounded, forced to retreat into the abyss. His eyes glared with hatred, but his power was broken. Chapter 59, The Ancestor in White's Revelation. Silence. The battlefield still shook, but the ancestor in white had not moved. He stood calmly, hands folded, eyes distant. Finally, he spoke. Do you know why ancestors fear the end of Dao? Because beyond it lies truth. We are nothing but prisoners of heaven's script. His words chilled Yetian more than blades. The ancestor in white smiled faintly. Child, you may become the one to break the script. But know this, once you stand beyond Dao, enemies greater than ancestors will awaken. He turned, dissolving into mist, leaving no hostility, only a warning. Yetian stood still, heart heavy. If ancestors themselves were bound by some higher chain, then what awaited him beyond Dao? Chapter 60, Eternal Sovereign ascends beyond Dao. The heavenly court was no more. Its towers shattered, its rulers broken. The ancestors had fallen or fled. The sect of tomorrow became the new axis of the world. Cultivators across realms bowed. Beast kings pledged loyalty. Even immortals flocked to kneel before the eternal throne. Yetian sat upon it, body bloodied, but eyes shining with defiance. The Eternal Dao radiated through creation, stitching torn laws, stabilizing collapsing heavens. And then the system declared. System announcement. Congratulations. You have established a new Dao recognized by reality. You are no longer bound by heaven's Dao. New title, Sovereign Beyond Dao. The world shook as his title engraved itself into existence. Even ancestors could not erase it. Yetian looked into the abyss of stars. Beyond Dao lay something greater. He whispered to himself, if I have broken free of Dao, then what lies beyond heaven itself? The chapter closed with his gaze fixed on distant realms, where unseen eyes already stirred. 0000, Chapter 61, The Sky That Couldn't Hold Him. Mini-arc subtitle, Tremors Across Heaven. The aftermath of the end of Dao battle lingered like a shadow over all realms. Shattered constellations floated in the void, fragments of worlds that no longer had names. Heavenly beasts, once apex predators, now circled at a cautious distance, trembling as Yetian's aura radiated further than any mortal or immortal should. Within the sect of tomorrow, disciples knelt, knees pressed into the shattered stone of the eternal terrace. Their breaths were ragged, trembling from the aftershocks of Yetian's last clash. The air shimmered with a tangible pressure, as if reality itself had bent under his will. Yetian, standing atop the eternal throne, gazed not into the world but above it. A faint smile played on his lips. For the first time, he realized, heaven itself was trembling. System log. Notice, host has exceeded heavenly containment threshold. Heaven cannot suppress your cultivation any longer. Do you wish to ascend beyond heaven? YN. The skis cracked like glass under immense pressure. Thunder, not mere tribulation but heaven's chains, lashed down toward him. Lightning crackled in a furious storm, attempting to bind him. Yetian lifted a single hand. The thunder twisted, then disintegrated into mist, evaporating under the weight of his aura. The disciples gasped. Master, he's defying heaven itself, whispered one trembling voice. No, not defying, he's surpassing it, another said, eyes wide with awe and fear. Yetian's gaze lifted to the endless void. His voice was calm, unshakable. Then let us see what lies beyond. 0245, Chapter 62, Heaven's Shackles Shatter. Mini-arc subtitle, Lawbreaker Ascends. Yetian chose yes. A scream erupted, not from any living being, but from the fabric of the world itself. The Dao quivered like molten glass. The heavenly laws, ancient and immutable for eons, shattered before him. Tribulation clouds coalesced into rivers of lightning, only to transform mid-fall into streams of pure chi, nourishing the sect below. The heavenly emperor's voice thundered from the divine palace. Blasphemy, no one surpasses heaven. Divine avatars descended, each bearing the sealed decree of heaven. Yetian opened his eternal domain, a bubble of absolute authority. The avatars dissolved as if drawn into the void, paper consumed by fire. System update. New authority gained, lawbreaker. You are no longer bound by heavenly laws of cultivation, time, or space. Disciples felt the bottlenecks of millennia melt away. Some leapt entire realms in a single meditation. Their screams of joy echoed across the sect as Yetian's aura bathed them in limitless growth. He was freeing not just himself, but every soul beneath his domain. 0530, Chapter 63, Heaven's Desperate Counterattack. Mini-arc subtitle, Ancestors Tremble. The heavenly ancestors, pale from their previous encounters, convened in the celestial council. He's gone beyond the Dao, one whispered. No, worse, he's gone beyond heaven, another added, voice shaking. If he succeeds, heaven itself will no longer exist as we know it, a third concluded grimly. They unleashed heaven's core weapon, an orb condensed from the first law ever written, a weapon capable of unraveling entire realms. It tore through void, a meteor of divine annihilation aimed directly at the sect of tomorrow. Yetian stood motionless, eternal throne glowing faintly. His disciples panicked, scrambling to intercept, but he raised one finger. Shatter. The core weapon imploded, laws unraveling, cosmic energy scattering like sparks. Ancestors coughed blood across the heavens, powerless. System prompt. Congratulations, you have shattered Heaven's core weapon. New feature, Beyond Heaven Authority unlocked. 0820 Chapter 64, Birth of the Eternal Sky. Mini-arc subtitle, A New Heaven Emerges. Heaven's collapse left an empty void above the world. Stars flickered, Dao rivers shuddered without direction. Yetian's hands spread wide. From the eternal sovereign system, light poured, forming the eternal sky, a dome of infinite radiance that replaced the broken firmament. Every cultivator, beast, and immortal felt the shift. The sky was no longer heaven's, it was Yetian. Beasts knelt, sects trembled, even wandering immortals bowed their heads. System log. Host has created eternal sky. From now on, all cultivation beneath it draws from your authority. Disciples wept openly, realizing they no longer cultivated under heaven, they cultivated under tomorrow. 11:15 Chapter 65, Ancestors' Fear. Mini-arc subtitle, The Last Stand of Heaven. The ancestors realized the truth. Heaven's authority was slipping. If Yetian completed his path, their existence, tied irrevocably to heaven, would vanish. They gathered every surviving ancestor, more than 10 in total. Powers capable of splitting stars and erasing worlds radiated from their forms. The eternal sky dimmed under their collective presence. Yetian stood alone, robes fluttering, eternal throne glowing faintly behind him. His disciples moved forward, but he raised a hand. This battle is mine. The ancestors laughed, voices like cracking mountains. One against all, you are still just one man. Yetian's eyes burned with terrifying calm. Then I'll show you the meaning of one is all. 1450, Chapter 66, The Battle Beyond Heaven. Mini-arc subtitle, Time, Flame, and Void Rewritten. The clash lasted what felt like eternity. Ancestors wielded forbidden arts, rivers of reversed time, sons of annihilating flame, Dao-collapsing void spears. Yetian countered. Reversed time became streams of growth for disciples. Annihilation flames were consumed, exhaled as eternal fire. Void spears were reforged into eternal banners for his sect. The eternal sky trembled with his authority. Every strike broke ancestors, bodies, and souls. Mountains crumbled, skis were shredded, stars screamed in terror. 10 ancestors lay broken, crushed beneath the throne of tomorrow. 1840, Chapter 67, The Void Above Heaven. Mini-arc subtitle, Where No Dao Exists. When ancestors fell, the void above heaven revealed itself, a terrifying nothingness where no Dao existed. Those who glimpsed it went mad instantly. Yetian stepped forward calmly. System log. Warning, you are approaching the absolute void. Only those with sovereign beyond heaven authority can survive. He disintegrated into pure light, then reformed. His Dao extended, filling the void. Laws arose where none had been. The void trembled under the weight of a creator. 22:30, Chapter 68, The Eternal Dao Emerges. Mini-arc subtitle, Creation Beyond Heaven. Inside the void, Yetian sat cross-legged, eternal throne floating. Each breath became a star, each thought carved a new Dao. Disciples meditating under the eternal sky linked to his creation. Bottlenecks shattered. Some who had been trapped for millennia ascended to immortality in a single instant. System update. Host has created Eternal Dao. All who follow you may cultivate eternally, without limit. The realms quaked. The Dao of tomorrow flowed through every being. Heaven no longer ruled, Yetian's creation did. 26:10, Chapter 69, Rebellion Across the Realms. Mini-arc subtitle, Chains Broken. Cultivators across the worlds, once bound to heaven, felt chains snap. They lifted heads long bowed, beast clans howled. Human empires cheered. Forgotten races emerged from shadows. "We follow the eternal sovereign," they shouted. The heavenly court, shattered and disoriented, was stormed from all sides. Servants and soldiers turned on their masters. The eternal sky grew brighter, feeding power to every rebel. Yetian's name became law. 30:00, Chapter 70, Sovereign Beyond Heaven. Mini-arc subtitle, The Axis of All Realities. Atop the eternal throne, Yetian opened his eyes. They reflected not the world reflected him. System final prompt. Final authority unlocked. Title gained, Sovereign Beyond Heaven. Your existence is no longer bound to Dao, heaven, or void. You are the axis upon which all realities turn. Disciples bowed, tears streaming. The realms shook in reverence. Even the void above heaven whispered. A new sovereign has replaced the old order. The Beyond Heaven arc ended. Yetian was no longer just eternal sovereign of tomorrow. He was the one who stood where no heaven could contain him. Milky Way chapters 7180, Beyond Heaven, the Absolute Sovereign Arc. 00:00, Chapter 71, The Realm That Bows. Mini-arc subtitle, Reverence of Worlds. The eternal sky pulsed with a radiance that could not be measured. Entire realms beneath Yetian's authority quivered in recognition. Empires, sects, and wandering immortals all felt the pull of his presence, as though their existence itself was now a note in the symphony of his will. Disciples of the sect of tomorrow experienced sudden enlightenment. Even the most stagnant cultivators found themselves breaking decades-old bottlenecks. One young disciple, trembling and pale, suddenly leaped into the immortal realm in a single meditation, his mind opening to the Tao of tomorrow. Yetian's eyes scanned the realms. He did not smile. Every star, every mountain, every river of chi in existence now recognized his authority. System log. Host's authority. Beyond Heaven, absolute sovereign mode activated. All cultivators under your eternal sky may now awaken hidden potential. Above, the void above heaven whispered as though alive. Yetian's gaze pierced it, calm and infinite. A world that had once bowed to heaven now bowed to him. 03:15, Chapter 72, The Echo of Ancestors. Mini-arc subtitle, A Shattered Legacy. Though 10 ancestors had fallen beneath the eternal throne, a few had retreated to the edge of existence. Their bodies ravaged, their spirits nearly broken, they communicated in whispers. He is rewriting reality itself. The sovereign beyond heaven, he will consume all. Desperation led them to craft the celestial resonance array, a mechanism said to channel the combined life force of all ancestors, capable of severing the connection between Yetian and the eternal sky. They descended, and the sky above trembled. Their presence alone could split mountains, yet Yetian did not flinch. His disciples cowered, but he merely lifted a finger. Attempting to sever my authority, futile. With a thought, he condensed the energy into eternal shields, reflecting not just power, but concepts of law and causality itself. The array shattered, sending shockwaves that cleansed the void. System update. Host has neutralized celestial resonance array. New skill unlocked. Absolute sovereign shield reflects all concept-based attacks. Even the remaining ancestors staggered. For the first time, they felt fear, an ancient, gnawing terror that perhaps their time was over. 07:10, Chapter 73, Storm of Eternal Fire. Mini-arc subtitle, Flames That Reshape Worlds. Yetian raised his hand, summoning a torrent of eternal fire that was neither destruction nor creation. It was transmutation itself. Stars burned and reformed, voids twisted and became fertile ground for new energy. His disciples felt themselves bathed in the eternal fire. One by one, they absorbed its essence, their souls reshaping in accordance with Yetian's will. Those trapped in the mortal realm for centuries soared into immortal heights. The fire spread, not consuming, but rewriting the very laws of reality beneath the eternal sky. Mountains that had been blasted into dust reformed as floating gardens of eternal chi. Rivers of Dao flowed back, clear and nourishing. System log. Eternal fire deployed. All subordinate realms recalibrated to eternal sovereign authority. Even the void above heaven shimmered, acknowledging the presence of a creator who could bend not only heaven, but existence itself. 11:05 Chapter 74. The First Sovereign War. Mini-arc subtitle, Clash of Titans. A new threat emerged. Cultivators from realms untouched by Yetian's authority, rebellious sovereigns of ancient domains, sought to challenge him. They descended with armies that had once been untouchable, their combined force threatening to rip the eternal sky apart. Yetian did not stand idle. He summoned the eternal thrones, each projecting fragments of his consciousness across the battlefield. His voice echoed through all minds. Any who oppose me will be remade or erased. Battles raged. Void spears clashed against eternal banners. Annihilation flames met transmuted fire. Rivers of reversed time bent and reformed under Yetian's will. Disciples fought beside him, now capable of feats that would have rivaled sovereigns of old. Each strike, each counter, was a lesson in the Tao of tomorrow. By the end, the rebellious sovereigns either bent the knee or became ashes on the wind. 1550, Chapter 75, The Absolute Domain. Mini-arc subtitle, Authority Without Rival. Yetian extended his eternal domain across the cosmos. Within it, every being, from cultivators to celestial beasts, experienced time and space bending to his will. Disciples meditated, feeling time stretch and compress around them, their cultivations skyrocketing. An entire generation ascended to realms previously thought unreachable. System update. New domain feature. Absolute sovereign domain. Control all time, space, and causal chains within domain. All within domain are subject to host's authority and benefit from eternal sovereign enhancements. The ancestors who had survived trembled. Even without fighting, their existence was at the mercy of Yetian's authority. 2015, Chapter 76, The Celestial Convergence. Mini-arc subtitle, Unity of Disciples. Yetian's disciples, now hundreds strong, gathered under the eternal sky. Their individual auras merged, forming a constellation of power that mirrored Yetian himself. Each disciple achieved breakthroughs simultaneously. One cultivated eternal flame soul, another void-writing Tao, yet another time-weaving art, all flowing seamlessly from Yetian's eternal Tao. Together, they became a miniature army of sovereign beyond heaven, capable of defending any realm and rewriting its laws. 24:00, Chapter 77, The Ancestors' Last Gambit. Mini-arc subtitle, Collapse of the Old Order. The remaining ancestors, desperate and furious, summoned the primordial seal, a relic older than heaven itself. It could erase the eternal sky if activated. Yetian merely watched. When the seal activated, its power surged like a storm, tearing voids apart, but he extended his hand. A ripple of authority, bending the very definition of existence, enveloped the seal. It shattered. Disciples felt the ancient Tao shift beneath them. Even those who had resisted Yetian's influence for millennia were now swept into his eternal Tao. 28:30, Chapter 78, Creation and Rebirth. Mini-arc subtitle, Worlds Forged from Light. Yetian now turned his focus outward. Across the cosmos, barren realms were infused with eternal chi. Stars formed, planets coalesced, rivers of Tao flowed. Entire worlds were rewritten under the guidance of the eternal sky. Disciples became architects, shaping reality alongside Yetian. One world, once a graveyard of death, now teemed with life and energy, a symbol of the sovereign's authority. System log. Worlds forged, 12 confirmed. All worlds now operate under eternal sovereign laws. Disciples successfully integrated into world-building protocols. 33:10, Chapter 79, The Rise of the Eternal Army. Mini-arc subtitle, Legions of Tomorrow. Disciples and allied cultivators, now fully awakened, formed the Eternal Army, a force capable of defending any realm and projecting Yetian's authority across dimensions. Each soldier's aura reflected a fragment of the sovereign beyond, heaven. The eternal sky shimmered with 1,000 constellations, each one a projection of Yetian's power. The army's presence alone crushed rebellion before it could rise. System update. Eternal Army deployed. All units synchronized with Eternal Sovereign commands. 37:00 Chapter 80. Sovereign of All Realms. Mini-arc subtitle, Axis of Infinity. Yetian ascended fully into the heart of the eternal sky. His robes no longer clung to his form. They flowed as extensions of reality itself. System final prompt. Final authority achieved. Title gained, Sovereign of All Realms. All reality now operates under host's Eternal Dao. You are the axis, the beginning and end of all existence. Disciples fell to their knees. Realms trembled in reverence. Even the void above heaven seemed to bow. For the first time in eternity, all who looked up saw one ruler, one law, one will shaping every star, every Dao, every breath. Yetian was not just a sovereign beyond heaven. He was the axis of infinity itself. The absolute sovereign arc ended, and the cosmos would never be the same. 00:00 Chapter 81. The First Test of Infinity. Mini-arc subtitle, A Realm Beyond Measure. Even as Yetian ascended as the sovereign of all realms, the cosmos whispered of uncharted domains, places untouched by even his eternal sky. These were regions of pure emptiness, where no Dao flowed, no energy existed, not even light. Yetian's disciples shivered at the thought. Many had never imagined a place where cultivation itself could die. Yetian's voice echoed across all realities. Those who wish to walk with me must endure the infinite. He extended his hand, and the infinite threshold opened. Worlds, stars, and voids stretched endlessly, fracturing in impossible angles. Time twisted and folded. Some disciples faltered, their minds unable to comprehend the scale. Others, guided by Yetian's aura, leapt forward, their consciousness stretching to touch the infinite itself. System log. Infinite threshold activated. All disciples under hosts, guidance, may attempt infinite realm trial. Failure will result in temporal disintegration. Success yields infinite Dao mastery. Yetian walked forward, the eternal throne floating beside him, and each step rewrote the laws of existence around him. 04:20 Chapter 82. The Mirror of All Selves. Mini-arc subtitle, Confronting Infinite Reflections. Inside the infinite threshold, disciples encountered the mirror of all selves, a dimension that reflected every possibility of their existence. Some saw versions of themselves that had failed, turned mad, or betrayed the sect. Others saw future selves of unimaginable power, standing beside Yetian as co-creators of new universes. Yetian observed quietly. His mind reached into the mirrors, touching each reflection. For him, there was no fear, only understanding. Each reflection was a Dao path, and he rewrote them, aligning all his disciples with the eternal Dao. Disciples screamed, not from pain, but from enlightenment. Each breakthrough shattered centuries of limitation. Even the weakest cultivator reached heights their ancestors could never dream of. System update. Mirror of all selves cleared. Infinite potential, unlocked for all disciples. All possible cultivator outcomes merged into host's Eternal Dao. 08:50 Chapter 83. The Returning Ancestors. Mini-arc subtitle, Echoes of Old Powers. The shattered ancestors, driven by rage and desperation, returned. But now they were not alone. Across fractured realities, countless ancient beings emerged, primordial sovereigns and forgotten immortals, all fearing the rise of Yetian. They unleashed the primordial armament array, a weapon capable of rewriting realms at will. Stars trembled, voids fractured. Yetian's gaze, infinite and calm, swept across them. His disciples aligned in formation, projecting eternal thrones and shield arrays. Every strike of the ancestors was reflected, absorbed, and transformed into energy for the eternal sky. One disciple, newly awakened, shouted, "Master, their power, it's unending." Yetian's voice carried like the wind through eternity. Unending. Nothing is unending if it stands before the Eternal Dao. Within moments, the primordial array shattered, leaving echoes of devastation that the eternal sky immediately repaired and reshaped. 1340, Chapter 84, The Forge of Infinity. Mini-arc subtitle, Reality Remade. Yetian extended his hand, and the infinite realm itself became a forge. Stars were reforged, Dao rivers rebalanced, entire worlds reshaped to serve as canvases for the eternal sovereign. Disciples, now fully aligned with his Dao, became co-creators. One shaped rivers of qi into flowing weapons, another carved floating mountains of immortal energy, a third wove constellations into battle formations. The cosmos became a living testament to Yetian's authority. System log. Infinite Realm Forge activated. All worlds under host's control can now be remodeled in real time. Disciples granted creator-level authority within Forge. 1810, Chapter 85, Clash of Sovereign Titans. Mini-arc subtitle, Power Beyond Comprehension. The ancestors, now desperate, joined forces with ancient sovereigns. The combined assault was a storm of annihilation. Sons of uncreation hurled across dimensions. Dao-reversing rivers tore apart civilizations. Temporal implosions threatened to erase centuries. Yetian raised his hand. Time, space, and causality bent. Suns exploded harmlessly, reborn as pillars of energy. Rivers of reversed Dao were converted into streams of eternal cultivation. Temporal implosions became loops of growth for his disciples. The battlefield itself became a chessboard of creation and destruction, entirely under Yetian's control. 2255, Chapter 86, Eternal Army Ascendant. Mini-arc subtitle, Legions of the Infinite. Yetian deployed the Eternal Army across all contested realms. Each soldier radiated a fragment of his eternal Dao. Entire planets rose and fell as training grounds for his legions. Disciples matured beyond mortal comprehension, wielding powers that mirrored sovereigns of the past, but enhanced by the eternal Dao. Together, they crushed every rebellion before it could fully form. System update. Eternal Army enhanced. Infinite scale deployment achieved. All units may now act autonomously under host's eternal sovereign command. 2730, Chapter 87, The Void's Challenge. Mini-arc subtitle, The Edge of Nothingness. Beyond the infinite realm, the void beyond all emerged, a place where even eternal Dao could be tested. The rules of existence failed, reality fragmented. Yetian alone stepped forward. His body disintegrated into energy, then reformed. Every breath he exhaled carved new laws into the void. Each step created stars where none existed. Disciples followed, tethered by his aura. Even within the void, they flourished, cultivating in a place where existence itself was unstable. System log. Void beyond all engaged. Only host with sovereign beyond heaven authority may survive. New skill unlocked. Void rewriting, creation of order from absolute nothingness. 3210, Chapter 88, Birth of Infinite Dao. Mini-arc subtitle, Lawmaker of the Cosmos. Yetian sat atop the eternal throne in the void beyond all. His mind stretched across infinite realms simultaneously. Every law, every Dao, every principle was now tied to his will. Disciples meditated, absorbing fragments of the infinite Dao. One disciple, who had once struggled for decades, now manipulated temporal rivers with a thought. Another shaped stars from pure energy. System update. Infinite Dao created. All disciples under host may cultivate without limit or mortality. All realms now operate under infinite sovereign authority. 3750, Chapter 89, Rebellion of the Forgotten. Mini-arc subtitle, Awakening of Lost Powers. Ancient civilizations, long hidden in shadows, awoke. Forgotten races, immortal clans, and hidden sovereigns emerged, challenging Yetian's authority, believing him untested. Yetian's disciples, now powerful beyond imagination, countered with the eternal army and infinite Dao. Battles unfolded across countless realms, each strike reshaping reality. The forgotten powers fell one by one, their resistance absorbed into the Eternal Dao, their potential now fueling the growth of Yetian's followers. 4230, Chapter 90, The Infinite Sovereign. Mini-arc subtitle, Axis of Eternity. Atop the eternal throne, Yetian's aura expanded to embrace all of existence. Light, void, energy, and Dao bent to his will. System final prompt. Final authority unlocked. Title gained, Infinite Sovereign. Host's existence now encompasses all realms, voids, and dimensions. You are the axis upon which infinite reality turns. Disciples bowed, worlds trembled, even the void beyond all whispered. A new axis of existence has been born. Yetian's gaze spanned infinity itself. He was no longer just sovereign beyond heaven. He was the infinite sovereign, creator and ruler of all realities, bound by no law, no Dao, and no heaven. The infinite sovereign arc ended. The multiverse would never again know a power like his.